Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a moment in every man's life, every woman's life, when desire alone is no longer enough. When hoping, wishing, and waiting will not take you another step forward. That moment is now. If you would rise, if you would conquer, if you would fulfill the dreams that burn within your heart, you must force yourself to achieve your goals. Success is not handed to the idle. It bends only to those with the will to command it. You must act. Not tomorrow, not someday, now. You must push beyond the limits of comfort, discipline your mind, and direct your energy with relentless determination. The world rewards the doer, the driven, the individual who takes definite action with a burning desire. So I ask you, are you ready to demand more of yourself? Are you ready to force your way forward, to master your mind, and to achieve the goals that belong to you and no one else? Definiteness of purpose is the starting point of all achievement. Without it, no plan holds weight, no action maintains direction, and no dream ever truly takes shape. It is the guiding star that keeps the mind focused, the energy concentrated, and the will aligned with a single, unwavering goal. Most people fail, not because they lack intelligence or ability, but because they scatter their efforts, dabble in many pursuits, and never commit fully to any one cause. When your purpose is definite, when it is carved clearly in your mind and etched into your heart, you become a magnet for opportunity, and the power within you becomes focused like a beam of light, cutting through distraction and resistance. Definiteness of purpose means knowing exactly what you want, not a vague hope, not a general ambition, but a clear, concise, and unwavering objective. It is the difference between saying, I want to be successful, and declaring, I will earn $1 million by building a business that solves this specific problem by this specific date. The first is a wish. The second is a commitment. The first leaves room for doubt and delay. The second demands action and clarity. You cannot achieve what you cannot define. Your subconscious mind requires clarity. It must have instructions, and those instructions must be clear, detailed, and repeated with faith. A mind that wanders from one desire to another is like a ship without a rudder, tossed about by every wind of circumstance, never reaching a destination. But a mind fixed on a definite goal becomes a force of nature. It draws to itself ideas, people, and resources that align with that goal. That is not mysticism. It is the law of cause and effect, the law of attraction, the law of belief and action working in harmony. When you have a definite purpose, it fuels your motivation. It gives your days structure and meaning. You wake up not merely to exist, but to move forward towards something real, something personal, something that matters to you. Without that sense of direction, life becomes a cycle of activity without progress. You can work hard, be busy all day, and still go nowhere if you do not know exactly where you're trying to go. Activity is not accomplishment. Motion is not movement toward a goal. But when your purpose is definite, every action becomes aligned. You stop wasting time. You stop entertaining doubt. You begin to operate with urgency because you know that each day either brings you closer to or further from your purpose. A definite purpose also builds resilience. When your goal is clear and strong enough, obstacles no longer have the power to stop you. They may slow you down, but they cannot deter you. Most people quit at the first sign of failure because their purpose was never strong enough to anchor their resolve. But when your purpose is definite, it becomes bigger than your fear, bigger than your doubt, bigger than your temporary discomfort. You begin to see setbacks not as roadblocks, but as necessary steps in the process. Every adversity becomes a lesson, and every lesson strengthens your determination. Your definite purpose must be something that excites you, something that challenges you, and something that calls you to become more than you are today. It should stretch your imagination and test your resolve. It should make you uncomfortable, not because it is unrealistic, but because it demands growth. If your purpose does not stir your soul, you will not stay committed to it. But when your purpose is rooted in passion, in deep conviction, in personal meaning, it becomes the fire that burns through doubt, fatigue, and fear. This kind of purpose must be written down. It must be made visible. It must be reviewed every single day. The mind needs repetition, just as a seed must be watered daily to grow into a tree. So your purpose must be fed daily with attention and belief. The moment you begin to speak your purpose aloud, write it down, visualize it, and align your daily actions with it, that is the moment your goal starts to come alive. Your subconscious begins to believe it. Your mind starts to search for solutions. Your spirit begins to rise. Most people drift through life with no aim, no plan, and no focus. They respond to life rather than create it. But those with a definite purpose create their future with intention. They choose where they are going, and they harness all their energy to move in that direction. Discipline your mind to act regardless of emotion. This is one of the greatest secrets of all high achievers. They do not wait for the right mood, the perfect moment, or the ideal circumstances. They act. They move. They push forward whether they feel like it or not. Emotion is a beautiful part of life, but when it comes to achieving goals, emotion can become your greatest enemy if left unchecked. Feelings are fleeting. They change with the weather, with your energy levels, with the words of others. But discipline, when developed, becomes a rock, a solid foundation upon which you can build results no matter how you feel. There will be days when you wake up tired, days when your mind is clouded with doubt, days when everything in you screams to rest, to wait. But the disciplined mind does not obey emotions. It commands them. It says, yes, I feel this, but I will act anyway. That is power. That is maturity. That is mastery. Discipline is not about suppressing your emotions. It is about refusing to be ruled by them. It is about knowing that your feelings are not always aligned with your goals and choosing to follow your goals anyway. The human mind is capable of incredible strength, but only when it is trained. Just like a muscle, the mind must be developed through repetition, through conscious effort, through consistent practice. You must train your mind to focus, to follow through, to get things done, even when the passion is gone and the excitement has faded. Many start strong, but few finish. Why? Because they only acted when they felt inspired. They waited for motivation instead of generating movement. They hoped for the fire to last forever, not realizing that fire is fed by discipline, not just desire. Acting regardless of emotion does not mean becoming robotic or heartless. It means becoming centered, grounded, and in control. It means not allowing a bad day to turn into a wasted week. It means showing up for yourself even when no one else sees or applauds. It means understanding that the cost of inconsistency is failure and the reward of discipline is victory. Every successful person you admire has had moments when they wanted to quit, but they didn't. They kept going, they got up, they stayed late, they took the next step, not because they felt like it, but because they had trained their mind to act in service of their goal. Discipline is what carries you through the valleys, the slow seasons. Plateau. Emotion cannot do that. Emotion is like a roller coaster, high one day, low the next. But discipline is like a train. It moves steadily forward, regardless of the terrain. If you depend on motivation to keep going, you will quit. Motivation is a spark. Discipline is the engine. Learn to do what needs to be done, not just what you feel like doing. That is the difference between amateurs and professionals, between dreamers and doers. The mind that is not disciplined becomes a prisoner of impulse. It moves wherever emotion directs it. One day it is excited and sets goals. The next day it is discouraged and abandons them. This cycle repeats endlessly until the individual takes control. Taking control means recognizing the emotion, acknowledging it, but not submitting to it. It means developing rituals, routines, and systems that guide your behavior independent of your mood. It means creating an identity that says, I do what is necessary, not just what is easy. If you wait until you feel ready, you will never begin. If you wait until the fear is gone, you will never take the leap. But if you train yourself to act, whether afraid, uncertain, tired, or uninspired, you will develop an unstoppable force within. That force is called discipline, and it is the gateway to greatness. It is the habit of consistency. It is the mindset of champions. It is the decision to show up again and again until the job is done, the goal is reached, and the vision becomes real. Everything you want in life is on the other side of disciplined action. Not just once, not just when it's easy, but day in and day out. The disciplined mind doesn't negotiate with weakness. It doesn't bargain with laziness. It doesn't entertain excuses. It simply decides what must be done and does it. It's not glamorous. It's not always fun, but it works. Because while others are debating whether they feel up to it, the disciplined individual is already in motion. While others are procrastinating, the disciplined are progressing. While others are controlled by emotion, the disciplined are controlled by vision. Burning desire backed by action creates unstoppable momentum. Desire alone is not enough, no matter how intense. Many people want success, wish for it, talk about it, even daydream endlessly about a better life. But wishing is not doing, and dreaming without movement becomes nothing more than fantasy. A burning desire is more than a wish. It is an obsession. It consumes the mind, fills every thought, and demands expression through consistent action. It is the fire that refuses to go out, even when the wind of failure tries to blow it away. But that fire, that deep inner drive, must be given direction. It must be channeled into movement. Even the hottest desire grows cold. Momentum begins when desire meets decision. How? When you decide that you will not settle, when you decide that you will do whatever it takes, you set something powerful in motion. Each step you take, even the smallest, begins to compound. Energy builds. Opportunities begin to appear, not by accident, but because you are moving. Action activates possibility. The universe doesn't respond to passive interest. It responds to focused, determined effort. When you combine burning desire with relentless action, you become a force that is hard to stop. Most people fail to realize that the act of starting is not the hard part. It is staying consistent when the results are invisible, when the progress is slow, when the world doesn't seem to notice. That's when desire must be at its peak. That's when the dream must be so real to you, so vivid in your imagination, that you can almost touch it. You have to believe in it before anyone else sees it. You have to be willing to show up when no one claps, to keep going when the road is empty, and to act with urgency even when there is no external pressure. Momentum is built through repetition, repeated effort, repeated sacrifice. Repeated sacrifice. The more you act in alignment with your desire, the more natural it becomes. You begin to feel pulled toward your goal rather than having to push yourself each day. Habits form. That's when momentum becomes self-sustaining. But you cannot reach that point without first enduring the grind, the phase where it feels like nothing is working, where results are minimal, and doubts try to creep in. This is the test. This is where most people quit, not because they lack desire, but because they lack consistent action to fan the flames of that desire into power. Desire is emotional energy, and like all energy, it must be converted into something tangible. You cannot just think about your goal. You must move toward it, research it, work for it, practice it, build it, sacrifice for it. You must show through your behavior that you are serious. The world respects movement. Life responds to intensity. When you show up again and again, when you take risks, face fears, and endure rejection, your desire begins to translate into momentum. And that momentum begins to open doors you never saw before. The combination of desire and action also builds character. It develops your resilience. Every step you take in faith, every hour you invest without seeing a return, makes you stronger. It teaches you how to endure. It teaches you how to create your own motivation, how to lead yourself, how to rise even when no one is lifting you. The fire inside becomes your fuel, and each action becomes another log on that fire. You stop needing permission. You stop waiting for signs. You move because movement itself has become part of who you are. People often overestimate what they can do in a day and underestimate what they can do in a year of consistent, focused action. Momentum is the result of stacking disciplined days on top of each other. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to refuse to quit. You need to keep showing up. The more you act, the more confident you become. Confidence isn't a prerequisite, it's a reward. The more you do, the more you believe. The more you believe, the more you do. This cycle, when fueled by true desire, becomes unstoppable. You don't have to know every step of the journey, you just have to start moving. Action creates clarity. Progress reveals the next move. And as you keep going, your desire deepens, your vision sharpens, and your momentum grows. Persistence breaks resistance. Never retreat from your vision. In the pursuit of any worthwhile goal, you will face obstacles. You will meet resistance in many forms: doubt, fear, failure, criticism, fatigue, and even the voice inside your own head telling you to turn back. But the person who persists refuses to surrender. They understand that the resistance is not a sign to stop, but a test to prove how badly they want it. Every great achievement in history was made possible because someone, somewhere, chose to keep going when everything around them said it was impossible. Persistence is more than just trying again. It is the decision to continue, not just once or twice, but every single time you're knocked down, you're knocked down. It is a habit, a mindset, a refusal to quit. It is staring failure in the face and choosing to act again anyway. The person who persists has already decided that their dream is non-negotiable. They don't dabble. They don't dabble. They don't attempt something as long as it's easy. They commit fully with their heart, mind, and energy, and they push forward no matter what. Resistance comes in waves, but so does strength. Every time you persist through a difficult moment, you become more powerful. You learn, you adapt, and you grow. The person who quits never discovers how close they truly were to the breakthrough. But the person who persists gains wisdom, endurance, and momentum with each trial. Obstacles are not the end of the road. They are the path. Each one is a step that forges your character and prepares you for what you desire. Resistance is there to challenge the uncommitted and to strengthen the determined. There will be moments when your vision seems so far away that it almost feels unreal. You may be surrounded by people who don't understand it, who don't believe in it, and who try to convince you to be more realistic. But if the vision was given to you, it is your responsibility to hold it tight, not because it's easy, but because it matters. People with no vision will always question those who have one. But persistence isn't about proving others wrong. It's about proving to yourself that you are willing to do what it takes. The truth is, most people are not defeated by life. They are defeated by their own lack of persistence. They stop 3 feet from gold. They give up right before the tide turns. They retreat when things get uncomfortable, not realizing that discomfort is a sign they are moving into new territory. Growth is not supposed to feel easy. Progress demands sacrifice. Your vision will require you to be uncomfortable. It will test your patience, your faith, your endurance, and your discipline. But if you can stay focused, if you can remain consistent, if you can refuse to give up, the resistance will break. It will always break before the one who refuses to bend. Persistence does not mean repeating the same action mindlessly. It means adjusting your approach, learning from your mistakes, trying again with more wisdom, with more insight, with more fire. The persistent person doesn't just keep moving, they keep evolving. They don't take failure personally, they take it as feedback. They refine their strategy and come back stronger. Persistence is intelligent, flexible, and relentless. It adapts without surrendering. It pivots without giving up the goal. One of the most powerful forces in the world is the compounding effect of persistence. What you do consistently over time matters far more than what you do once in a while. One small action repeated day after day can lead to massive transformation. Most people are looking for the quick fix, the shortcut, the overnight result. But the truth is, real success is built brick by brick. The person who lays a brick every single day will one day have a wall so strong that nothing can tear it down. That is the power of persistence. When you decide that quitting is not an option, your mind begins to search for solutions instead of excuses. You stop focusing on what's in the way and start focusing on how to move through it. That shift in focus is everything. It ignites creativity. It awakens strength. It calls forth your potential. And with each step forward, you send a message to yourself and to the world. I am not backing down. I am not giving in. I will keep moving until I reach what I came for. Your environment shapes your destiny. Surround yourself with drive. The people you associate with, the conversations you engage in, the habits you observe, and the energy you absorb from your surroundings have a profound effect on your mindset, motivation, and direction. You become a reflection of your environment. If you are surrounded by individuals who settle, who complain, who make excuses, and who fear growth, it becomes nearly impossible to rise above that influence. But if you immerse yourself in an environment where excellence is expected, where dreams are pursued, where accountability is present, and where energy is high, you will naturally begin to elevate. Your mind is constantly being programmed by what you hear, what you see, and what you allow into your space. You must guard that space as if your future depends on it, because it does. If your goal is to force yourself to achieve success, you cannot afford to keep company with mediocrity. And you cannot allow casual conversation to become your comfort zone. Growth is uncomfortable, and those who are not growing will resent your commitment to transformation. That is why the right environment is not optional. It is essential. Examine the people in your life. Do they inspire you to push harder, to dream bigger, to live with purpose? Or do they drain your energy with gossip, negativity, and distraction? Every person you allow close to you is either pushing you forward or pulling you back. There is no neutral ground. The time you spend with others is either an investment or a cost. You must be courageous enough to distance yourself from relationships that no longer align with your direction. That doesn't mean you stop caring for people. It means you care more about where you're going. A driven environment isn't just about people. It's also about places, habits, and choices. What books are on your shelf? What voices are you listening to daily? What does your workspace look like? What do you consume when no one is watching? These subtle details are powerful. Ah, success is not something you visit occasionally. It's something you build into your daily life. Your surroundings must reflect your standards. Your space must support your focus. Your routine must encourage your discipline. Creating a driven environment begins with intentionality. It starts with deciding what kind of energy you want to be immersed in and then taking steps to create it. This might mean waking up earlier to have quiet, focused time. It might mean listening to audiobooks instead of scrolling aimlessly. It might mean joining a mastermind, a community, or a group of individuals who are walking the same path. When you are around people who are chasing greatness, your own excuses begin to sound hollow. Their fire sparks yours. Their momentum lifts yours. Their belief becomes contagious. Do not underestimate the influence of your surroundings. A single conversation can plant a seed that changes your mindset forever. A single connection can open a door you never knew existed. A single decision to walk away from a toxic environment can save you years of wasted potential. You have the power to curate your world, to remove what weakens you and reinforce what strengthens you. That is not selfishness. It is strategy. It is wisdom. It is the mindset of someone who has decided to succeed no matter what. You are not obligated to stay in environments that no longer serve you. You are allowed to grow. You are allowed to outgrow, and you are allowed to create new spaces that align with the person you are becoming. Change your environment, and you change your energy. Change your energy, and you change your actions. Change your actions, and you change your results. How? The transformation always begins within, but it must be supported externally. Willpower alone can only take you so far. A strong environment multiplies your effort, protects your focus, and accelerates your progress. When your environment aligns with your goals, everything becomes easier. Discipline becomes more natural. Focus becomes automatic. You no longer have to fight against the current. You begin to flow with it. That's the power of creating surroundings that support your growth. And it's not about being perfect. It's about being intentional. It's about choosing every day to step into spaces that reflect who you want to become rather than who you used to be. Clarity of purpose fuels commitment and consistency. Without a clear sense of direction, even the most talented, disciplined, and motivated individuals lose steam. They drift from one goal to another, constantly starting but never finishing, busy but never productive. Clarity gives power to your efforts because it defines your why. It roots your actions in something deeper than temporary desire or fleeting inspiration. When you know exactly what you want, and more importantly, why you want it, you unlock a level of focus and drive that is immune to distractions and setbacks. Purpose gives meaning to the struggle. When you face obstacles, and you will, it is clarity that reminds you why you started. It is clarity that keeps your feet moving when your mind is tired and your emotions are low. Without clarity, resistance will talk you out of progress. It will convince you that the pain is not worth it, that the journey is too long, and that the sacrifice is too great. But with purpose burning in your heart, every sacrifice becomes an investment, every obstacle becomes a lesson, and every step forward becomes a declaration of your commitment. You don't find purpose by accident. You define it with intention. It comes from deep reflection. It requires asking yourself hard questions. What matters to me? What impact do I want to have? What am I willing to suffer for? When you answer those questions honestly, your path begins to reveal itself. You stop chasing surface level goals and begin pursuing something that resonates with your core. That alignment between your vision and your values is what creates unshakable consistency. Purpose brings structure to chaos. Life is unpredictable. Distractions are everywhere. But when your purpose is clear, you filter your time, energy, and decisions through that lens. You start saying no to things that once pulled you away from your path. You stop wasting time on tasks that don't serve your mission. You become strategic, deliberate, and intentional. Purpose simplifies your priorities. It gives you a target. And when your target is clear, your actions gain precision. Consistency is often misunderstood. People think it's about willpower, about grinding every day without fail. But true consistency flows from clarity. When you know why you're doing something, you don't need to force yourself to act. You're pulled toward it. That doesn't mean it's always easy. There will be days when you feel tired, uninspired, or overwhelmed. But clarity reminds you that those feelings are temporary. It helps you zoom out and see the bigger picture. It keeps you rooted in vision, not emotion. There's a difference between movement and progress. You can be busy all day and still be nowhere closer to your goal if you lack clarity. Purpose creates focus. It helps you eliminate distractions that appear urgent but aren't important. It keeps you anchored in what truly matters. Without purpose, you can work hard and still feel empty. But with purpose, even the smallest task becomes meaningful because you know it's building something greater. When you have clarity of purpose, you become magnetic. People notice, opportunities begin to align, resources start to appear. Not because luck is on your side, but because your energy is aligned. Your decisions are sharp, your message is strong, and your commitment is visible. People are drawn to those who know who they are and where they're going. That clarity becomes your compass. It guides your steps and shapes your identity. You don't need to have all the answers right away. Purpose evolves, but the key is to start with what you know now and let it grow. Take what excites you, what challenges you, what moves you deeply, and begin building around it. As you walk the path, clarity becomes sharper. The more action you take in alignment with your purpose, the more consistent you become. It becomes a cycle. Clarity leads to commitment, commitment leads to action, and action leads to even more clarity. People who achieve extraordinary goals are not superhuman. They are simply aligned. Their thoughts, words, and actions are all pointed in the same direction. They are not perfect, but they are consistent. They are not always motivated, but they are grounded in purpose. That is what makes the difference. When you are clear on your why, the how becomes manageable. When your purpose is strong enough, you will find a way even when there seems to be no way. You will persist longer, sacrifice more, and rise faster than the person who is unclear.